The Cruz people have drunk the Kool-Aid. And I really mean drunk the Kool-Aid. As of right now, Donald Trump has 996 committed delegates, and that doesn't count the 40 he's probably going to get out of Pennsylvania. But anyway, and Ted Cruz has about 546. Obviously not counting any committed delegates that he's going to get out of various states that had primaries and caucuses. So anyway, let's just concentrating on Trump, because all you hear left and right is that Donald Trump can't get there according to Ted Cruz. So I did a little bit of homework, and I came up with the following numbers, and I'm going to give it to you basically by state. Donald Trump, again, has 996 committed delegates, and Ted Cruz has 546. If Donald Trump wins Indiana, right off the bat, he gets 30 delegates for winning the state. And being nice, let's just say he gets 15 more delegates for the various districts. That would give him 45. Let's say Cruz gets, and I'm not even going to count Kasich. I'm going to give Cruz the benefit of the doubt and says he gets everything that Trump doesn't. Cruz, in that case, would pick up 12 delegates. In Nebraska, that's a Cruz state, so I'm assuming that Cruz is going to pick up 2/3 of the delegates there, since it's a primary state, and Trump's only going to pick up 12. West Virginia, that's supposedly a big state for Trump, but being nice about this, let's say Trump picks up 21 delegates, Cruz picks up 13. In Oregon, the polls are fairly close, but Trump is projected to win Oregon. But let's give Trump only 16 delegates and Cruz gets 12. In Washington, the same thing, though Trump is polling a bit further ahead. So let's give Trump 26 delegates and Washington 18. And Cruz 18 delegates in Washington. The big one is California. Trump is projected to get at least 120 delegates out of California, with Cruz picking up the other 52, and I think that margin is going to be a lot wider. Montana, that's supposed to be a Cruz state, so we're going to give Cruz all 27 delegates out of Montana. Trump gets 0. New Jersey's a winner-take-all. So if Trump wins New Jersey, which he will, he'll get all 51 delegates. Cruz will get 0. New Mexico, jury's out on New Mexico, though I think Trump will win it. So let's give 12 each to Trump and to Cruz. And the final state would be South Dakota, which is supposedly a big Cruz state. So let's give Cruz all 29 delegates and Trump gets 0. If you do the math, that adds up to 1,299 delegates for Trump and 745 delegates for Cruz. Okay, so let's say I'm being overly zealous as far as the delegate count. You could reduce California from 120 down to 100, which would reduce Trump's delegate count obviously by 20. So that would still give him 1,279. And it's really hard to see once you clear Indiana, and if he gets that 45 in Indiana, it's really hard to see where to knock down any additional delegates for Trump. So basically, Trump, given that he only gets 100 delegates out of California, he still ends up with 1,279, which gives him a 42 delegate window to play with. And again, that doesn't count the 40 or so, I believe it's 40 plus delegates that are uncommitted out of Pennsylvania. So, you know, they're drinking the Kool-Aid. they're claiming that he's not going to get there, but the math says that he is. And I'm willing to bet you, if you sat down with them one-on-one, that the states that I gave them, I gave them 100% of South Dakota and 100% of Montana, and they probably aren't going to get 100% of both of those. There's just no way that Cruz can get there. Actually, there's no way that Cruz can stop Trump from getting 1,237 delegates. Okay, let's listen to the Alice Stewart drink the Kool-Aid.
Indiana's a big moment in this campaign. There's no doubt about it. And it's a big moment for Ted Cruz. He hopes to stop Donald Trump and force a contested convention. The senator says he's confident in his chances today.
I could not be more encouraged that this election is turning on the good judgment, on the Midwestern sensibility of the people of Indiana, because the stakes are enormously high. We cannot make the same mistakes over and over again.
What happens if he doesn't take the stage tonight? Alice Stewart is communications director for the Cruz presidential campaign, and she joins us now. Good morning, Alice. Good to see you, as always.
Good morning,
welcome.
Martha. Thank you for having me.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about good and evil on the campaign trail coming from the Cruz camp over the past couple of days. Why is that? You know, why frame it in those terms?
Well, first and foremost, because Ted has been out there on the campaign trail talking about his positive vision, an uplifting vision for the future of this country, about his actual solutions and plans to create jobs and improve the economy, strengthen our national security, as well as work to fight immigration. Whereas Donald Trump, on the other hand, has done nothing but insult his competitors, insult people all throughout the process, denigrate the process itself, calling the convention process crooked, and those taking part in it as being underhanded and engaging in some kind of nefarious activity. You can't insult your way to the process, to the White House, so it's about providing solutions.
All right, so a couple stories out there this morning asking about the PACs that support the Cruz campaign. There's 4 major PACs that support the Cruz campaign, and that perhaps there's some nervousness, some starting to look for other places to put the money. What is your feeling about what's going on behind the scenes and whether or not they will hang in there with you all if he doesn't win tonight?
Mark my words. When Cruz loses tonight, those PACs are going to start jumping ship.
Well, all I can comment on, all I'm familiar with is our fundraising. We've had tremendous fundraising this past month, $10 million. Just recently, we've raised $90 million to date.
Tremendous. Bernie Sanders is tremendous. Bernie Sanders raised more than you have in 2 months, more than you've raised during your entire campaign. So you say you raised $90 million from the start of your campaign. Bernie Sanders raised $44 million in 1 month, $40 million the month prior to that, and this past month he slowed down somewhat and only raised about 22 to 24 million. So in basically 3 months, Bernie has outraised you guys by $10 million over your entire campaign raising period.
So we're confident in what our campaign can do and will do in the future. The PACs are on their own. We don't coordinate with them in any way, shape, or form. But look, the path ahead for Donald Trump, it's not a foregone conclusion. Look, he's got a tough road to hoe. He talks.
That's bullshit. He does. See, they refuse to open their eyes and look at the math. If Donald Trump wins tonight and gets, 45. I gave him 45 delegates. If he wins tonight, that 45 delegates is going to put him on a glide path to the nomination. Now, if he doesn't get the 45, okay, let's say he only gets 12, he still would be there, but he would have to really do the job. He really would have to do a great job in the rest of the states. But 45 delegates definitely puts him on a glide path, and these people don't want to wake up and smell the coffee.
About the fact that he's got this sealed up. Look, in order for him to win 1237 before the convention, okay, we'll just start off, we'll give him Indiana. Let's just say he wins Indiana tonight. After that, he has to win. He has to win in New Jersey, Nebraska, New Mexico. He also has to win in
He doesn't have to win Nebraska. As a matter of fact, I gave Nebraska to Cruz, and I called New Mexico even. So she's wrong there.
Washington State, Oregon, in California. He also must win in the biblical proportions in New Jersey by 9%.
That's not true. He doesn't have to win by 90%. This lady doesn't know what she's talking about. New Jersey's a winner take all, so all he's got to do is win the popular vote in New Jersey by 1 vote, and he gets it all. So she needs to brush up on her stats.
Kind of landslide election victories seen by Soviet dictators that Paul Manafort is used to working with. So he does not have an easy path to victory here. And with that, if any of those scenarios do not take place, we will go to the convention. It will go to the second ballot. And that is a favorable lineup for Ted Cruz, because the people that go to these conventions are the grassroots volunteers and activists that have been working hard for the Republican Party, and they support Ted Cruz. And on the second ballot, we are in great shape to win.
It's anybody's guess, obviously, how those numbers pan out, because if you talk to the Trump people or even outside analysts who look at it, there's a number of ways that he could get to 1237 before, after California rather, and then even if he falls short, or whoever falls short, there's that scramble period between then and the convention, which could prove to be very instrumental in all of this. So you say 100% he will stay in it all the way through, no matter what happens tonight. Is that a fact?
The plan is for us to stay all the way through. And look, I strongly disagree with what you're saying in terms of the ease of him getting to 1237. All of those states that I mentioned have to fall into place for Donald Trump.
Which of those states, Alice, do you think are potential? Which of those states would you say the Cruz camp believes Ted Cruz can and will win?
All right, let's see which ones. Okay, these are the ones that I think Cruz can win. I think he can win Nebraska. I think he can win Montana. I think he's going to split in New Mexico, and he's going to win South Dakota. Let's see what she says.
We have good support in several of the upcoming states. Nebraska should be a good state for us. We have good ground game in California in order to pick up several delegates. But the key is not so much on what states we predict will win. We're not really in the prediction game. But the facts remain. Looking at the math and the maps ahead, Donald Trump has to win those states in order for him to secure 1237. It's not a mathematical inevitability for him to get 1237 before, and we are strongly confident that when that happens, we will go to convention, and the convention voters, those who are on the convention floor, are the people that have been fighting for the conservative principles that Ted Cruz has been fighting for his entire life, as opposed to Donald Trump, who has been contributing to and supporting Democrat issues and candidates for his entire life. So we are confident about the road ahead, and we have crunched the numbers and looked at the math. It is very difficult for Donald Trump, and we are confident that we'll be taking this to Cleveland, battling it out on the Cleveland floor, and a second or third ballot is a good one for Ted Cruz.
Well, you need to go back and recrunch your numbers, because you couldn't even come up with the states that I did. We both came up with Nebraska, and Cruz is not going to shut him out in Nebraska. You didn't come up with Montana, and I said Cruz would shut him out in Montana, which is being nice. And I also said Cruz would shut him out in South Dakota, which again was being fairly nice. I called New Mexico even, though Trump is ahead. So apparently you wouldn't even speak up for the two states that I thought Cruz would be able to at least do a great job in. And yeah, and it is about the numbers. So if you crunch those numbers, you should have come someplace close to the numbers that I came up with, which shows that Trump is going to get over 1,237 delegates. End of story.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens tonight, and we'll see what happens going forward. Good to speak with you this morning. Thank you.